I think we are. Okay. I
There we
think
are.
we are live now.
Good.
Mike and I are trying all this new tech. And we're literally doing what we can to get more more of you, more of an audience to be sharing and to be learning. And today I'm so excited because we are having my clinical psychologist who has been working with me since pandemic. And now she's written a book all about, it's called A Deeper Wellness. She's going to be talking about that. And we have not yet really dived deep into, mental health for men and how they can have stronger minds, deal with a lot of the things that are the burdens that men deal with in life. And, Mike, as we're getting ready, hey, we have people on Instagram. Hello, guys.
How you guys doing? Bring up the energy. Let's go.
I know, right? Let's go. Dr. Monica will be joining us. But you know what, Mike? You have been most recently sharing some things that you're dealing with. And I think you're being tested, whatever you're being tested, but your resilience is there. Can you share a little bit more about what has been happening? Just really raw and authentic, if you feel comfortable doing that. And then, we're just waiting for Monica to be in the queue. So go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, but long story short, I embarked on this journey of building this coaching business, and I was ready to do that. And we started nice and easy. I had my home in Spain, and my business started to take off, and the interest started to increase. So I decided to, set an end date on when I would be moving out of Spain, and that was two days ago. So 1 month prior my moving out, I decided to go to America to meet up with a lot of people in California. Now I can see, Carmelia, I don't know if you can see me. I can see that the image is frozen. So I don't know if you can
hold on,
hear me or not. But anyway, I'm just going to continue. And you there?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
We're good?
Yeah. Can you hear me? Hello?
Got it. Okay. So, got you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay. Dr. Monica is saying
cool.
she didn't.
Anyway,
okay,
long story short, I went to California. In California, I'm buying a new iPhone. When I'm buying a new iPhone, I also realized that I have to get an eSIM, and I can't activate that number if I'm not in UAE. And I'm like, holy cow. So all my funds, I don't have access to my funds. I'm in California. It's not the cheapest place on earth, I will tell you that. And I have to call my friends in my network, guys, you need to transfer money for this account where I have access to money. So they transfer me money, they borrow me money. So just so I can get, milk and, the dailies. And then I'm like, okay, I'm going to travel home. I had 2 days to move out of my home in Spain. So I come home. I'm just looking forward to go to Dubai to get everything fixed so I can start that plan that I made. And here we go. America goes to war. And I'm on my way I moved out of my home. I'm sitting in a taxi. I'm living in 2 suitcases. They're literally on the floor in my hotel. I haven't even packed it out yet. That's my life. This is all I got left. And then I got a cat that is over with a friend's house. And I am then.
Are you in a hotel right now?
Yeah, I'm in a hotel.
Okay, go ahead. Keep going.
Yeah, I'm in a hotel right now in Spain. Yeah, I don't know if it's my connection or your connection, Carmelia, but it's breaking up. So I'm in a hotel in Spain, and I was supposed to go to Dubai, but of course I can't go there. So again, I'm left without funds, and I'm in a hotel. I don't have a home, and I still coach my clients. I still do my content. I still do everything I'm supposed to do, but my foundations are gone. Like all my basics, all my foundations are gone. But I'm calm. I'm good. It's all going to work out.
Amazing. Okay. On that note, we have Dr. Monica, and I'm going to bring her right up here, guys. Just one moment. Woohoo! We should have the clap. There we are. Hey, Monica.
Hi. Nice to meet you both.
Hi, Monica. Nice to meet you.
Hi.
Well, I know you, and I know and I recognize the background. You're actually in your clinic in Toronto, And by the way, thank you for joining us, because Dr. Monica is literally coming from helping a client. And probably as soon as she gets off with us, she's going to have another client. And this is what she does. So without further ado, Dr. Monica, we're talking all about how men can have stronger minds. This is about men's mental health, resilience, all the things. I have a lineup of questions to ask you. But before we go through that, just a little background for our audience in terms of who you are and why you felt compelled to join us, given your such a busy schedule. So please share.
Well, I'm a Dr. Monica Vermani. I'm a clinical psychologist. I specialize in high stress, mood, anxiety, and traumas. Background, I worked in corrections. I worked with women in prison for a period of time. Then I worked with men in correctional facilities. Again, these are populations that have extreme emotions and extreme symptoms of mood, anxiety, stress, and trauma. And then as I've moved on, I've worked with brain and spinal cord injury at UHN with people who are paralyzed from the neck down or the hip down. I've worked with children and families with anxiety, as well as CAMH, just with extreme anxiety disorders, as well as forensics. And so I've done military work, 9/11 work since 9/11. And I have a good practice where I do mindfulness meditation with cognitive behavioral therapy. I'm EMDR certified, so I do EMDR as a way to work through trauma. EMDR stands for eye movement desensitization reprocessing. And I'm seen as an expert with mood, anxiety, and trauma. I've done a TED Talk on Think About It. Thoughts are powerful things, good or bad. Everything ever created started with your thoughts. And our trauma, anxiety, depression, narratives of how we live, and narratives how we change starts with our thoughts. I have a book, A Deeper Wellness. That's out there on Amazon, audio as well as, a book. And I've been out there
with it, guys. Go get it.
Yeah, I've been out there with the book and the TED Talk doing more media. And so there's a lot of articles. I write for Psychology Today every 2 weeks. You'll get tons of information on mental health. During the pandemic, I was quite busy. But post-pandemic, we're seeing a lot of changes in people. We work very well with people who reach out and ask for help. And the truth is, women are sometimes encouraged and supported to get a lot of help. But I see a lot of men. And the truth is, many of our men populations wait till they're in extreme suffering to get the help. And I love the work that you're doing, Mike, because today we're in a place where, again, when you're in pain, you spill over onto others. So it's not about one population of people getting more help than others. We all need it. And we need to start making it more comfortable for men to get help preventative care versus reaching that place where you're at the bottom of the barrel. When suffering is really, really extreme, it's a catalyst for change. But we need to start working on ourselves throughout our life. And many times traditional male role models don't promote and perpetuate getting treatment until you're in a place of dire need. Addictions, chronic pain, suffering, relationship losses, conflict, anger, getting to prison. And so, trying to make the world a better place is really about all of us coming together. I've seen your story. I see all the wonderful work you're doing. You're an inspiration for a lot of men out there. And, bringing on professionals like me, just bring in the accurate information. As a clinician, I work with this every day. I have the tools. I know the knowledge. I know the symptoms. And, as human beings, we're all looking for safety. And I've even heard that in some of your posts too, how many times you've reconceptualized life to look for safety. But I'm going to share this quote before we start getting into our engagement. A ship is safe in harbor, but that's not what a ship is for. And so this quote is about wisdom, of understanding that life is complex. We all want to be safe, and a ship is safe in harbor. And we are safe in certain environments, but life is not about being safe. Life is about building the skill set to make you capable. Life is just a series of experiences, and it's not about avoiding one extreme or the other. It's about saying, bring it on. Life only gives me what I can handle. If you believe in God, God only brings me what I can handle. It's feeling capable to handle the next bad thing that may happen, because we're living in a world where uncertainty shouldn't be afraid of. Uncertainty is something we should feel capable to handle.
I love that. That's quite a mouthful. What you'll find with Dr. Monica, given her title, she shares a lot from understanding the psychology and the biology and the physiology that happens with men dealing with trauma. And because this is ManUP Mondays, Monica, what does it mean? When you hear ManUP? What is that kind of, what does that inspire for you personally when we're talking about manning up?
It's stepping up in our power, right? And I think in today's world, if we look at the dynamics throughout time, women have started wearing the pants, going to work and doing things. And there's a lot of changes in those traditional models of family, of coupleship. And manning up, I think, is about us helping each other and helping men learn their place in the world as women are much more independent, much more financially sufficient. Before we used to have breadwinners and householders. It was a very concrete, you have two different roles. We need to come together to build a family and we need each other. Today, it's not about needing each other. A healthy relationship is make your life ice cream on its own, really, really sweet, really, really good on its own. And a good relationship's the cherry on top. It makes life a little bit sweeter, but with or without it, your life on its own needs to be sweet. We need to work on our own individual health to come together healthy in partnerships, healthy as parents, healthy as coworkers at workplaces. For psychologically safe workplaces, we need to be healthy on our own. When you're in pain, meaning you haven't resolved your issues, you're spilling over onto others, your family members, your loved ones, your workplaces, and even the community. And when you're in a place of health where you've worked on yourself, one, you have more synergy of peace, harmony, happiness, but you also get to a place where if you're healthy, you're choosing healthy partners, like attract likes. And we want healthy friendships, healthy partners, healthy dynamics. That starts with us.
Yeah, I love that. Mike, what would you say in terms of what men often don't really understand or define trauma as trauma, right? Like, have you seen examples in your own life or community where men carry trauma, but they don't really recognize it as trauma? I'm actually posing that to Mike in his own life and his own example. Hold on. He might be frozen. So let him get back together. So yeah.
So I'll answer that.
Go ahead. Please answer that.
Carm, you and I have talked about this on your podcast. When it comes down to trauma, we're creatures of habit, and you're born in sometimes a family unit, 0 to 10. You're born in a family unit. You're not born in that world out there. And so many of us don't realize you're living with your symptoms every day. And so you're living with physical symptoms, negative thoughts, negative behaviors that are maladaptive habits and patterns in your lifetime. We don't realize that we're not doing well until somebody points it out or there's consequences to your actions. And so when you're used to living with ADD, when you're used to living with trauma, when you're used to living with symptoms, to you, that's normal until somebody points it out or you have a consequence. And then you're like, this is not what everybody else does. This is not how everybody else lives. When I worked with sex offenders for a period of time, in corrections, some of them had really tragic life stories of abuse, childhood abuse. And we develop blueprints or narratives that we think this is the way everybody lives. Like if you had domestic violence in your household, if you had, traumas in your background, sometimes you're just repeating the cycle of what happened to you. And you have no awareness that the rest of the world out there doesn't live that way. So when you live with an ADD parent, or you live with an alcoholic parent, or you live with, a dysfunctional background of yelling and screaming and belittling one another, you just assume everybody else is doing that until you get into a relationship. Then you kind of headbutt and you're like, oh, your family's different? You guys actually resolve conflict? Oh my God, you eat healthy instead of comfort food? Oh my gosh, you actually encourage each other and support each other versus put each other down when you're upset? We need to sometimes understand what we grow up with turns into a blueprint. And sometimes our blueprint comes with symptoms, ADD, anxiety, unhealthy habits, alcohol, drugs, abuse. And we don't know we're doing something wrong because we're in the chaos of living with that every day until you pause, reflect in therapy or with a friend or with somebody who's doing better than you. And you're like, oh my God, I can be different. Now change happens. But first, the first step to treatment is knowledge and awareness, which comes from you knowing better, knowing that what you're doing can be changed for a better life, for a better quality of life, better functioning, better relationships.
Yeah. Mike, I think, by the way, because Mike's in a hotel, it could be why his reception may be a little bit choppier than normal. And Mike is dealing with his own resilience right now. Monica, you didn't get to hear that. He's been dealing with a lot of different things. His flight got canceled. He's in a hotel right now, literally living with his possessions in a suitcase. Yet here he is showing up, figuring out where to find a damn cold plunge at 4 a.m., operating with no access to cash. And I'm like, can I Uber you some food and stuff? And he's like, no, I'm good. I'll figure it out. So Mike, just to answer that question for yourself, before you did the work, where in your life did you carry trauma, but you didn't even realize it was trauma?
Yeah, I hope my internet can last this. I'm so sorry, ladies, but yeah, this is Spain, and the internet comes and goes on the hotels. Well, I had definitely had trauma when it comes to love, what love was. I thought that love was something that I should perform for. And that was one of the biggest traumas that I had. So for me to feel loved, I would perform, I would try to be the best, and I would constantly try to be acknowledged. Now I can see that the screens, they froze. So I don't know if you guys can hear me. And maybe, I don't know if it's good to have me on this connection. Maybe I should take the computer down to the lobby and see if I can connect there. That will take me 5 minutes. Should I do that?
Yeah, let's do that. Mike, you can continue because we can hear you. But if you do want to go to the lobby, I know that I can ask Dr. Monica questions, and she can go till 1:15 to make up for the time. Okay?
No, it's fine. If you can hear me, that's fine. So yeah, that's one of the traumas I had. But also, another trauma was you can say a self-worth. I never got this empathic love from my mom, and that means that I always felt that I wasn't good enough, and I always had a low self-worth, and that's why I constantly let other people step over my boundaries. I was really bad at putting up boundaries. I was really bad at telling people to back off when it was too much for me. I kind of always just accepted people's treatment to me, and that showed up later in my life. And besides that, traumas, I think one of my biggest struggles were to feel that this world was a world full of love. I felt this world was one big competitive space. It was just a competitive space, and all it was for me was just to be the best and fuck the rest. Sharp elbows and fuck. But I had values from my dad, so it was kind of conflicting me. So, sometimes I could go so competitive into things, but I really hated myself for it because I really loved that person, and that was not the right person to treat that way, but I needed to win. So I was in a conflict for many years. But on the flip side on that, unfortunately, it also gave me my success. So one thing I learned, and that's why I'm doing this program now, because a lot of the rich dudes that I'm coaching, they might have built the business, but they haven't built the man. And I didn't bring the man into it. And today I live a different life. I live from principles and well-thought design values and non-negotiables, things I really do not break. And that gives me, it gives me I would say it takes a little longer time to get to your stuff, but you get to your stuff in a much more integrityful way. And I sleep good at night. For the first time in my life, the last 2 years, I actually sleep good at night. I don't have any overthinking. I don't have any, if I have, I know it's just my roommate inside my head, my little voice that wants to make noise, but I know I conducted myself the way I wanted it. And I never did that up until the age of 37.
Oh, Monica, I can't hear you. You might have hit a mute button.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, there we go.
So I've watched some of your videos, Mike, and I can see all the healthy disciplines you do. And I just finished doing a retreat in Punta Cana, from surviving to thriving. And the key for us to thrive in life is bring in healthy habits and weave them into our daily schedule. It makes us take charge. And we have to remember, like I said, when you're in pain, you spill over onto others. And when you're not in a good space and you have symptoms, you're finding maladaptive habits, alcohol, drugs, procrastination, laziness, watching and doom scrolling. And, some of the things that we're seeing more and more people go through when you bring in healthy habits that I've watched you bring in, you're taking charge of your life. And so wherever you come from, we have narratives. Like you said, your dad brought in that competition because he was raised with that. He's not teaching you something he doesn't know. That's what he came from. That's what he thinks success comes from. We forgive our parents for doing the best they could with what they knew, but not knowing better for us sometimes. They never got the help. They maybe are immigrants and never came with the knowledge or the resources that you and I have. It's about having compassion for wherever our parents come from, but it's about being an adult. When you say man up, to me, that's about all of us adulting to grow up and say, okay, what skills did my parents pass on that they did the best they could, but these skills don't work for me in my life, in my time zone. And how do I become a better version of me? And what are narratives that I grew up with that maybe motivated me to be successful, but they're not healthy? Sometimes we have narratives and belief systems and blueprints that our parents motivate us to study harder, to succeed. My mom used to say, hard work doesn't kill you. Yes, it can in my work. I got to put some boundaries on. Her hard work may have not killed her, and her work was different from mine. So understanding at some point, we have to reconceptualize life and how we have formulas to succeed. When you talk about growing up, you know, a little bit, you started off talking about codependency. Codependency is where you need to be needed, where you need to be liked, meaning you gain your value from external validation. And we all place conditions on loving ourselves. If my mom and dad approve of me, their approval of me makes me feel worthy of love. If my friends like me, I'm worthy of love. If I succeed and I can dress well and look good, I'm worthy of love. If I have lots of money in the bank, I'm worthy of love. Meaning we're placing conditions. I'm worthy of love if, I'm worthy of love if, I'm worthy of love if. And the truth is you're worthy of love just the way you are. When you have children, you start realizing, and I know you have a little one, when you have children, you realize you unconditionally love them. Even if they disappoint you, they could get into jail, they could get into bad habits, they could do lifestyle habits you're not too thrilled with. But you still love them. You might be disappointed in them, but you love them just the way they are. They don't have to make a certain amount. In fact, many of us, when you have a child, you just want them to be healthy. And then you start placing all these conditions on them to succeed, to be someone, to be liked, to fit into the community, to compete so they can get that job and sustain life. We place conditions on them, and then they place conditions on themselves. And sometimes our parents pass away and we continue to place conditions on ourselves, meaning there's a saying out there, we do to ourselves what our parents did to us, even when they're not around. So I have people in my office working through childhood abuse and trauma and pressure that their parents put on them. And when their parents are gone, they're still putting that pressure on themselves. They don't realize unconsciously they're doing to themselves what their parents did to them. And so when you speak about a mother that lacked compassion or nurturance, that was her way of growing up because maybe she didn't receive it. But at some point, you got to learn how to fill that bucket for yourself. If we don't start filling our own gaps, we're constantly out there looking for people to fill it. And when you have expectations on people, that's where the heartache comes. That's where the disappointment comes. That's where these symptoms get louder and louder. And then we do unhealthy habits, drugs, alcohol, procrastination, pushing people away, sabotaging good relationships because we don't feel worthy of love. We got to start with, I'm worthy of love just the way I am.
I love that. So for both of you, because Mike works with these primarily very high achieving men, very successful men. And so, and as do you, Dr. Monica, as do I in the matchmaking and media space, how do stress and anxiety typically show up in these high achieving and high functioning men? I would love to point that to you. And then maybe Mike can share a client story or a personal story once you identify the ways that they typically show up.
So again, we all have different layers of trauma, as I call it. And, you know, a little bit of Mike, what you're sharing about your life is like layers of trauma, anxiety, overworking, underworking, oversleeping, undersleeping, promiscuous behavior, distracting yourself by partying like a rock star and needing to be the FOMO, fear of missing out, need to be everywhere all the time. You know, that presence, when you don't have it within yourself, you don't know how to be in solitude. And so, you know, with these high achieving professionals that I see and you see, anxiety shows up with competition. Anxiety shows up with needing to be perfect. working really hard, making more money, sometimes even feeling less than, and they go the other way where you don't even try anymore. You feel like a failure. You don't feel like you're capable, or you man up in the way that you think you have a skill. So for example, if somebody's a good looking person, but they don't feel smart, then they get their value from like attracting different people as partners because they don't know what else they have to offer. Or if it's money, then you're flaunting your money and you're showing off because you don't feel competent in the other areas. There's sometimes an overcompensation, and our symptoms of anxiety drive that. Anxiety is fear. Fear is self-doubt. I'm not sure if I'm good enough. I'm not sure if I'm enough. I'm not sure if I'm worthy. I'm not sure I have anything else to offer. I remember a man in my office saying, you know, it's my privilege to pay for things for a woman or for colleagues and friends. And I said, why? Like, don't you have to save money for a rainy day, like your retirement? And he looks at me and he goes, I feel like I have nothing else to offer. I'm a boring person. You know, I'm socially anxious. I'm awkward. Paying for a meal, paying for show tickets, paying for a hockey game, or paying for someone's purse and wardrobe makes me feel like I have something to offer them for their company. How sad is that? Many of us have these narratives of like, I need to do something to receive love. You embody love when you walk in love. When you are really good with yourself and you've worked on yourself, you walk in love, you talk in love, you embody love. You are in a state of love where everything around you is connected to you. You're not disconnected. And, you know, I think the highest level of spirituality is when you amalgamate that I have a sense of belonging in my world. Most of us are disconnected, feeling we don't belong in our circles of friends, belong in our workplaces, imposter syndrome. We feel like we have to compete. We feel like we have to be the best in order to somehow be seen, heard, valued, and loved. Deep down inside, we all want to be seen, heard, valued, and loved. The first person we have to do that to is ourselves. I need to see myself. I need to hear myself. I need to value myself, and I need to love myself. Then you embody love in a presence where you walk in the room and you're connected to everybody in love. There is no proving anything, but that means working on yourself. And the people who are overachievers are still proving themselves to themselves, not others, because others are looking at them as accomplished. It's them. Their demon is within them. Their anxiety is within them. It's this that needs to change. Your thoughts are powerful things. Good or bad, your thoughts shape your life. My TED Talk.
Mike, how do you see your clients share, or that you witness stress and anxiety shows up in their life?
Yeah, so they are on a different stage. So they are on a stage where my Instagram is used as a tool for waking them up so they can become aware of the problem that they have. So I kind of provoke them, if you might notice. So if you meet me on a private dinner, I wouldn't be sitting and screaming as I do on my Instagram. But I use it as a weapon to wake them up, and then I can help them. But often what happens is, on the stage they are when they come to me, is that they have realized, oh my God, I let myself go in that area. And they had overcompensation in that area. So many times it's overcompensation. And they also realize that they don't love themselves. And they realize that both in their relationship is broken, the kids, they're not present with their kids. And not because maybe some of them are so rich they have time enough to be with their kids, but they are physically present but not present. They're always on to the next, and they're numbing themselves. They drink too much. They have, they're promiscuous. And when they come to me, the first thing I teach them is shadow work. Is pure shadow work. Is let's face the guy you don't like. And
what you mean when you say self-love for a minute, Mike, because what you're really talking about is judgment. And if I had to remove something off everybody, it's judgment of yourself.
Absolutely.
And others. When others are judging us, we're harder on ourselves and we're overcompensating. When we judge ourselves, we're constantly pushing ourselves harder, and then we're numbing because we don't feel comfortable with the feelings. We don't know how to sit with things. What you're teaching people to do with your Instagram is you're pausing and reflecting so that somebody can realize, oh my God, I do numb. Oh my God, I have rage. Oh my God, I am not happy with who I am. And I'm constantly judging others because somehow I'm not good enough in their eyes, and that's judgment. And you're also judging yourself. I'm not good enough. We do to others what we sometimes do to ourselves. If we're hard on others, we're hard on ourselves. If we're thinking others are seeing us as less than, it's because we see ourselves as less than.
That's right, and that's so right. So to give you an example, Dr. Monica, is that what the development I underwent was when I had my daughter. You might know my story, and I realized, oh my God, I lost it. I lost myself.
You lost love.
Yeah, I lost love.
All of baby is pure love, unconditional love. Kids hug, kiss you if you don't kiss them back. Kids will tell you the truth. Oh my God, I don't like that. And you're like, shh, you can't do that. We teach kids to get out of a state of unconditional love to placing conditions on ourselves. Right. Each and every one of us here, we're a child once. We're unconditionally loving, looking in the mirror in awe, unconditionally, no standards, living in the moment. And then as we grow, we're taught society norms, we're taught rules to somehow succeed. But the truth is, it's not always success. Sometimes we're taught also dysfunction, unhealthy eating habits, short and shallow breaths versus deeper breaths, not being in the present, and not learning how to look at someone without conditions. Your daughter taught you how to remove conditions on yourself. You're re-healing your inner child through her.
That's right.
Have that opportunity.
Right? Amen. Yeah. She woke me up. She made me see. And the first thing we do with my clients is that, I frame it. So I help them see themselves. I said, listen, you have your version here now. That's the guy you don't like. Let's kill that guy. Let's start by just killing that guy. Before we talk about anything else, let's focus on just killing that guy. And men love that. Yeah, let's go to war. So it's a man thing. So we start by exposing him and becoming aware. So the first step to change, in my opinion, what had happened to me is awareness. Yeah. And the next stage, in the way I see it, is rage on that, use that anger to that person to pivot away from it in such a degree that and then step number 2, I implement beautiful discipline to them. Let's wake up early. Let's do something that's uncomfortable. Let's prove to ourselves that we can actually keep our own promises. Let's get our confidence and self-worth back. I keep my word. Yeah. And then let's study some books from some of the greatest spiritual books. And I make them change the way they look at things. I change their perspective. So when you change the way you look at things, your narrative changes.
You make them pause.
Say again?
You make them pause. Many of us are so busy on that hamster wheel that when somebody wants to work on themselves, what are we really working on? When they come to this office, they're pausing throughout that chaos to be silent amongst the chaos.
And you say it, Dr. Monica, you said it beautiful. I had a client the other day, a multi-millionaire from the UK, 32 years old. He was overweight. His marriage was crap. He said it was his own words. And, he went in for the first day, and the first day we get a text in this brotherhood chat we have. And he's, this guy he doesn't have to work for the rest of his life. And he's sitting in a cold plunge. This is crazy. He's sitting in a cold plunge, 6:30 a.m. in the morning. And he sends us a text. I never knew life was so beautiful. Because he has conquered himself. He sits in calmness. He can't think about anything else. And he sees the sunrise. And that was where he felt, boom, he got that pause.
He paused.
Mm-hmm. So, that's literally what we do. I do shadow work, and then I do identity reconstruction by reframing the way we look at things.
Nice. The shadow work reminds us that we are light. You take on a body as a soul to enjoy this world of form. Are you not enjoying your life? If not, what's the problem there? Because you literally are born alone, you're dying alone. It's an individual journey amongst the collective. You're born into families, you're born into communities, but it is about you. And if you choose on a soul world to come to the earth plane and body world to enjoy the world of form, enjoy your foods, enjoy your experiences, lovemaking, your orange, your cup of coffee, your office, your workplace, if you're here to enjoy, if you don't find day-to-day life enjoyable, then you're not doing it right. And so we got to look at what took me away, like a child, enjoying my moment fully and completely. What took me away to overthinking, to being anxious, to not feeling good enough, and personalizing hurtful experiences. Trauma work, and you and I work with trauma because a lot of men do have trauma. When it comes down to trauma work, bad things happen to people every day, but trauma is really about healing the wound that you took from that experience. Healing that wound is you looking at the narratives and the symptoms that came from that trauma and working through that. Because traumatic things happen every day. It's what you personalize from it that causes the dysfunction that sticks around. And if something bad has happened and you're holding on to it every day, relationship loss, traumatic things happening in the world, a natural disaster, abuse, alcoholism, prison sentences, whatever you're holding on to, if you hold on to personalizing it and labeling yourself as not good enough, not smart enough, broken, and you can't let go of the label and say, I'm still worthy of love just the way I am, you will be plagued with symptoms.
Well, here's a good segue to the question that I just posted, and you started to answer it. What's the cost at home and at work in relationships when men don't address their stress and anxiety? You started to allude to that. And I also want Mike to share a personal story of what that cost him. So do you want to go start first, Monica, and then we'll go to Mike?
I can start. So again, when you're in pain, you spill over onto others, and people have symptoms. Symptoms manifest in your body in 3 different ways. Through physical symptoms, headaches, muscle aches, abdominal distress, constipation, diarrhea, heart palpitations, panic attacks, mind racing, ruminating, fatigue, exhaustion, disconnection, pushing yourself, not sleeping enough, sleeping too much, sleeping too little, eating too much, eating too little. Then the second one is negative thoughts about you, your world, your capabilities. I'm not good enough. I'm not smart enough. I can't handle this. As well as blame, shame, guilt, putting others in a place where you're blaming, shaming, guilting others to deflect and not accept responsibility for your stuff. And the third way things show up in your life is maladaptive behaviors, unhealthy habits, eating too much, eating too little, sleeping too much, sleeping too little, alcohol, drugs, porn addictions, gambling, shopping addictions, promiscuous behavior over and over, needing to go and not take a break, staying in abusive relationships, not setting healthy boundaries, not telling people really how you feel and suppressing it, denying yourself safety in a workplace, or getting a new job, or going back to school, or not thinking you're smart enough, not learning the tools that you need, not getting the help you need to actually get life back on track. So we got physical symptoms, negative thoughts, negative behaviors all the time that we're managing. And how it shows up at home. Well, today with weed being legalized, I see a lot of couples complaining about disconnection, where I have a person who's not hearing me, seeing me, valuing me, not contributing to the household, not maybe being present for our children, not enjoying your job, where you're bitter and angry and you're blaming and shaming and being critical of others, critical of yourself, critical of others. At work, it's showing up as loss in productivity, putting up with jobs that you don't like, making errors, making critical errors, trying to, pawn off the work on others, or cut corners and not even do a lot, but look like you're doing a lot. Relationships, a lot of people are complaining that they don't feel fulfilled in relationships because we're not entering them from a place of complete. We're entering them from a place of lack. When you're in void and lack, you're looking for people to fill your bucket, whether it's sex, it's attention, it's compliments, it's gifts. If you're looking for people to fill your bucket in your friendships, in your partnerships, at some point that's going to exhaust the other person. Many of us are getting into relationships that are codependent, where you need to be needed by somebody. So there's a person who's fixing everything all the time, but over time, that fixer is going to get resentful that you're not giving back. Relationships need to be reciprocal. And I'm seeing more and more people are bitter, angry at other people not stepping up, but they're not stepping up for themselves. Your turn. How do you see it?
Yeah, you're so good at it. I love listening to you. Well, I can say it in a very simple way.
Yeah.
I switched my entire worldview from I gotta have to I'm here to serve.
That's purpose. That comes from a different space. That comes from resilience already built. How do you get to a place of seeing the resilience that's needed now?
Okay. Yeah, you can definitely put a bit bigger vocabulary on that. But the way it changed my entire world was I understood for me to be able to serve, I need to be full. I can't serve from an empty place. And that's not serving with, I'm not worthy serving. It's not just like for me to really give my best, to give that person presence. I need to have energy. I need to have interest. I need to have my stuff covered. I need to be full inside before I can serve. So I knew that was for serving my daughter. I knew I had to fill myself up. So I went on solitude for 2 years, and I'm pretty sure if we sit down on a dinner, Dr. Monica, you can tell me everything I did. But what I really did was just changing that, like making sure that I was able to serve. And I remember I read in the Bible, which was one of the great books that I took inspiration from. I can't take the exact scripture from it, but it literally said, develop the best version of yourself and serve the world with that.
And what you just brought up is beautiful. Your daughter taught you unconditional love. When a child relies on you for survival, you have no choice but to learn unconditional love. Because that kid crying, shit its pants, do all these horrible things, and vomit all over you, and you still love them because you can see they're vulnerable. They need you to survive. What a responsibility. Same with pets, right? So we can unconditionally love vulnerable people, but what we have to learn is our own rock bottom is what helped you. Like when I listen to your story from some of your podcasts and your posts, I can see you hit rock bottom. Many of us hit a rock bottom where you surrender to see good now in the world because you are so done with the dark. And when you surrender to that place of vulnerability, then bringing people joy brings you joy. Bringing people love brings you love. You start realizing, give what I want to get back. When I'm so broken that the only way to heal myself is when I can give somebody what I want back. And then guess what? You get it back. You want love, you give it. You want kindness, you give it. You want respect, you give it. You want fairness, you give it. You learn to start speaking up. If you want clear communication, you give communication. Learn to give the skills and things you want back. But then also remember, do unto others as you want done to you.
And you said that's so beautiful. So what to answer your question, Kim, thank you, Dr. Monica. Wow. Why can we do this 2 hours?
No, we want to do it in a retreat, actually. So we want to do that at some point. This is why I wanted to connect.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, go ahead.
So what do I see with the families? It is they are not serving.
Yeah,
that's the only thing I can say. They're not serving. I can tell you when I changed, and that's what my program does. It literally makes them serve. Serve.
But comes when you're in a place where you've taken care of yourself. So this goes back to make my life ice cream, because if my life is not good alone, I can't serve anybody. I'm exhausted. There's a saying I say, Mike, you'll like it. Don't give from an empty well, give from your overflow. First, take care of filling your bucket. Eat well, sleep well, exercise and breathe, and get a calm state of mind. Deal with stuff in therapy from the past that are still haunting you. Clean up your shit and make your life ice cream. Then when you're serving, it comes from overflow. You're not exhausted and doing it from a place where they're filling your bucket. You're so in love. I remember my meditation teacher who ordained me saying to me once, when somebody had hurt my feelings, she said, Monica, how big is your love? And I said, really big. It's an ocean of love. And she goes, so if somebody needs an extra couple of buckets, is that a big deal? Does it take away from your ocean of love if somebody needs a few more buckets? And I said, no, you're right. So she goes, so sometimes you're going to meet people who need a few more buckets because they're empty. Let them have it because you have an ocean of love. When you're in a place of abundance of self-care and self-love, when you're in that space, it's okay when people take a little bit more. It's okay when people hurt, but you still need to communicate that you liked it or you didn't like it. You still need to learn to honor yourself, even if people hurt us, but realize you have an ocean of love. But that's only when you take care of yourself, because if you're empty, you're constantly having symptoms that are making you reactive. And those symptoms are also hurtful and denying you truth in life. So I agree. By
the way, Mike, I came to Dr. Monica and I was referred to Dr. Monica by one of my successful clients. Mm-hmm. Shout out to Cheryl. Mm-hmm. Cheryl came to me at 44 with a desire to meet the man of her life and have a baby at that age. And we made it happen.
We found it.
Yeah, we found it. And so she referred me to Dr. Monica. So I went to her at the point where I was really at my rock bottom, and it truly helped. And because we want to serve, all of us here, the question I have now for you guys is, for you, Dr. Monica, and for Mike, what's one simple action a man could take in the next 24 hours to support his mental health? Who wants to go?
You
Okay,
go.
Mike, you go.
Get in shape.
Okay.
Get in shape. Go get in shape. So let's say a lot of men, I don't believe you can solve a thinking problem with a thinking problem. A lot of men, if you start to treat your body right, eat the right foods, move, automatically you're going to feel better. You're going to get better. That's the first, I'm not saying it's the only solution, but within the next 24 hours to support mental health, get in shape. That was the absolute first thing I did. The first thing I did when I was in my rock bottom and I felt like I had so many demons in my mind, my man was to get in shape, Mike. I didn't know what to do. I just went to the gym. I honored my physique. I honored my food. And there came boundaries. And there came learnings. And there came resisting temptations. And there came openings. And there came the wanting to read. So I believe getting in shape is the number one first step, especially for men at least, to go.
So my answer,
and women like it, by the way, when men focus on that. But there's many benefits aside from the man that I'll say
But
that
it won't solve all his problems. So if you have a lot of stuff to work on, just because you are in shape, you can still be a widow. But getting in shape, if you are not in a mental good state, that if you're not in shape, I would believe that. Yeah, Dr. Monica, now I'm curious.
So again, to me, thoughts lead to moods and behaviors. Okay. So everything ever started with a thought. For us to be able to, again, a thought of I value and love myself, then leads to the emotions of waking up in the morning at 6 a.m. to go work out, and then the behavior is working out. To get to the behavior, the number of people who are depressed and anxious and in bad habits, for them to just get up in the morning and start working out is hard. So you need gradual steps. I agree with you. Start walking, do certain things. But the motivation comes from a thought that I'm enough.
Okay.
That I'm worthy and deserving, that I love myself fully and completely. I'm worthy and deserving of a better life. There's got to be a thought. So to me, the biggest thing we can do is number one, pause and reflect. So closing your eyes, taking a couple of deep breaths and going inwards and having your conversation with yourself of like, I'm enough, I'm enough, I'm enough. And then waking up to pick up baby steps to get to that big goal of working out and taking care of yourself. So many people have emotional fatigue. Their body is heavy on an emotional level. To get them to move doesn't come until I can get their head to clear up the space, to think about thoughts that are positive about themselves and their lives. And even if they have a to-do list of gazillion things, picking one thing is good enough. We all struggle with, I am not enough.
We all struggle with taking enough steps. And sometimes saying I'm not enough is harder than taking a few steps. So I totally, I can't say that I disagree with you, but I've met a lot of men. Yeah. You have met many more than I have, I believe, but I've coached a lot of men, and not only in this program. And the fastest way for those that I have seen who really get fast back on track, and I've worked with two of the people in my coaching program had a deep depression, and the first thing I told them was, stop thinking too much, just go to the gym and go to bed. Yeah. Let's start there.
Yeah,
just stop thinking, go to the gym and go to bed before everything starts to, my rule for myself, Dr. Monica, was after 9 p.m. my limbic system took over. I had decision fatigue. I was done. Yeah. Then all my bad thoughts came. Yeah. And then I said, you know what? I don't want to lay here. I'm just going to sleep.
But Mike, remember, for the person to reach out and listen to your podcast or listen to your things or to step up and call you for an appointment, there was a thought that said, this guy can help me. There's always a thought that brings in hope and faith. We need to make our faith bigger than our fear. Faith is believing in yourself that I can get better. That means I'm enough. Like there is a part of us that has to have a thought that makes them reach out to you or me to say, let me reach out beyond myself to get the help and the guidance to keep me on track so that I work out. But if I don't have my trainer kicking my butt, I ain't getting out of bed. But for me to hire that trainer came with a thought that I'm worthy and deserving of making myself better.
So I think the perfect combo here is thought followed by action.
I just gave him the thought. Go to the gym. Here's the thought, guys. Take it, think it, do it.
But thoughts lead to moods and behaviors. And again, it's important for us to look at the cognitive distortions, distorted ways of seeing reality, and challenge what thoughts are holding me back from making the choices to be a better person.
And by the way, not to interrupt this conversation, and Mike, are you good to go a little bit, a few more minutes with Monica? Okay.
No, hey, never asked me that twice. That's of course.
Okay. All right. You both are not only serving, high achieving, powerful men. You both are authors. You both have authored previous books, and Mike is in a pre-launch right now. If you noticed on the bottom ticker here, it says to pre-order Mike's new book, ManUP, on Amazon. And also I have been promoting Dr. Monica's book, A Deeper Wellness. Hold on. It is my Bible. It's by my bedside. It's by everything side. Here it is. A Deeper Wellness. It's conquering stress, mood, anxieties, and trauma. So we'll start with Mike, given he is the, host of this podcast. Mike, what is your book all about? And if you want to have a sample of his chapters, he's going to share with you how you can get that for free. And once you read that, you're going to be like, where's the rest of the pages? I want it. So go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, so it's an authentic story of my breakdown, right before my breakdown. And I take you on a very vulnerable journey where I open up about everything and my way back. And I explain in every single step how I came back. Because I understood one thing in coaching, it is you can coach people in two ways. And the first way is very difficult. And that's where you try to have people to remember who they are. And that's difficult because you can tell them they're good enough, they're strong enough, you can do it, you can just do like that. But they have their own narratives. They have their own story in their mind, so that might not work. But the second method, which I realized before I wrote this book, was you can remind them who they are by you demonstrating it for them so they can see themselves in you. So that's what I'm doing. Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
that's right. So that's what my book is about. So I also start my book by saying, hey, this is not a book about success. It's a book about me, but maybe it's about you too, if you dare to be honest with yourself. So I bring you so close to my story of my breakdown, all my dirty secrets. Everything is out there. Like, I don't hope my mom reads it first, but it's out there. And then my way back. And then there is 6 steps that I charge thousands of dollars to coach men in today. You get that in the book.
And I've had the honor and privilege of reading almost, I would say, 80% of it, and I couldn't put it down, and I couldn't read it without. Now, Dr. Monica, I'm an empath, so I don't know how many times I cried reading this book. I don't know how many times I was like, damn, like, you don't hold. When I tell you that he does not hold back, it's like I'm sitting in the room at that bar with those women in the bed. Like everything, it's like really raw, and I'm so proud of him, and I'm so proud to be able to be on his journey, watching him share so authentically. So yeah,
authentic and vulnerability, right? Storytelling is really powerful today because we relate to one another, and we all have human problems. We sometimes feel alone in our journey, but the truth is, when you put it out there, you realize how many other people are going through the same thing, the same, looking for the same resources, looking for the same guidance, or having similar experiences. Life is really about going deeper. And I would say take charge of the energy in your space. And so a little bit of what you said about going to the gym, you're right. Like, if you put yourself in positive environments with friends, with the workplace, with the gym, with routines, if you're putting yourself in positive places, you do feed off that energy. So taking charge of the energy in your space is also what you watch on TV, the media, the news. What are you exposing yourself to? I love how you talked about spiritual books. That knowledge, what you focus on expands within you and outside of you. So when you're reading things that are uplifting, that are teaching, that are guiding, that are supporting, that are relating, they help you want to be a better person because it reinforces faith over fear.
Love it. And so, Dr. Monica, let's talk about your book. Can you share with everybody what that's about, and where you got inspired to write it, and how did this come about?
So during the pandemic, a lot of people wanted more of me, and I was the one person. I had a lot of patients who were unemployed and not working, and things were shut down. But on my end, work just tripled. And so at some point, I needed to give them more resources. So I started writing articles. If you go on my website under podcast, there's articles that I wrote with actionable steps to work on things. And those articles led to me writing for Psychology Today. And then I just realized people wanted more resources. So I had meditations I started recording. Then I wrote the book, and the book is a workbook. So it doesn't matter what age bracket. I have over 30 years of experience in this book where I give you things to work on: guilt, shame, anger, working through feeling worthy and deserving of communicating, of breaking old patterns, of breaking narratives of how you used to live, and finding new ways of living, as well as connecting to spirituality. Learning to just pause, reflect, and breathe, and just know life only gives me what I can handle. I can handle it. Everything I have grown. Like when we talk about competition, Mike, the truth is when I see comparison out there, comparison is important for us. It's a part of our individual journey. But when I judge somebody as lesser than me, and I look at someone and say, oh, you're lesser than me, I realize I grew from there. And when I see somebody I judge as better than me, I'm like, I can acquire their skill and become it. So to me, comparison has a place for your own personal inventory of how far have I come? How far do I want to go? And the truth is, once you start embodying self-love, your inner world creates your outer world. When you feel worthy and deserving and you love yourself fully and completely, you do a correct and a continue, or a reset of your life, where you automatically let things go, move forward, and manifest the life you want, not the one you're stuck in, or the one you were raised in, or the one that you had traumas in. Many of us need to realize we might not be able to change circumstances we were born into, but we can change the way we view them and the way we move forward in the present and future with them. Future is imagination. You can imagine it to be as beautiful as you like. Many of us imagine catastrophizing, worst case scenarios, but you can also imagine best case scenarios. So this goes back to take charge of the energy in your space, hanging out with people like us, hanging out with others who are working on themselves, going to that gym where you are motivated by others pushing themselves on a physical level, which brings you to also a mental peace. Your mind is calmer when you do one thing at complete presence. We look at golf, following a ball for 9 holes. What is that about? It's you doing one thing with complete presence. You're meditating. When you meditate, you do one thing with complete presence. We're talking right now, not doing anything else. We're really here. When you're in your present moment fully and completely, whether it's cooking food, loving your child or your pet, or it's you just breathing and meditating, you end up healing something. You end up going into the unbounded, and the unbounded brings up issues to clear, and the unbounded gives you the power to manifest the life that you want versus the one you think you're stuck in.
I love that. Oh my goodness.
And the book is about you going deeper regardless of where you are at, to help you through it.
So before we go ahead, Mike, do you have something to share on that?
Just a note on that. And so when you go on that journey, and this is also important for everyone listening, when you go on that journey, when you start to honor yourself and fill yourself up, you will automatically also let go of a lot of limiting beliefs.
And when you work on yourself, you also have a ripple effect of helping others around you work on themselves too.
Absolutely. Yeah, you become a light, right? But the thing, so I learned an important thing on this journey here, which I'm teaching others too, and that is when you keep breaking your own promises, like those promises, when you should be doing it, but you're not doing it, and you end up in this lower self-doom loop, and that you don't even know you have a higher self. You don't even know that. But when you start to honor your higher self and that better version of yourself, you start to get this self-trust back. You can trust yourself again. That's your confidence.
So here's the one exercise I do that you'll like, which is go back to the first time you let yourself down. You think about as a child, when you let yourself down, when you suppressed your voice, when you didn't ask for help, when you realize back, that's what EMDR does. I take you back into your own memories to figure out where you started the habit of putting yourself second in the equation. You need to VIP, very important person in your life. You have to add yourself back into the equation of your life. Whenever you have abandoned yourself, you've put yourself down, you criticize yourself. If I go back into your memories, I can tell you exactly, you can tell yourself exactly the first moment where you suppressed your voice, where you denied yourself love, where you felt unworthy of love, where you felt I'm not enough and I need to do more. When it comes down to it, there's always a memory where we have held on to something that took us away from nurturing ourselves fully and completely.
Wow, I love that. So before we go, and thank you for staying, both of you, what's one thing that, because we have women listening. I've had a few DMs now, so there's both men and women in our audience. What's one thing that partners or family can do this week to support a man they love? Because men are surrounded by their partners, their coworkers, their friends. What is something that they can do to support the man they love? Monica.
Compassion. Number one, you want compassion, but compassion needs to come with boundaries. You can't enable people. The more you enable them, the more they actually reinforce their bad habits. So compassion can come for sending someone love. You don't have to interact with people who are being abusive to themselves. You know what? People have to meet you. As a therapist, I'm only as good as you allow me to be. You got to be vulnerable enough to meet me halfway for me to do the work to get you to the results. Same with you, Mike. When you work with your clients, they got to show up fully and present to be vulnerable enough to follow and work on the stuff that you're presenting for them to step up in their life. So I'm going to say compassion doesn't mean you're forgiving and letting go of people for bad behaviors. Compassion comes from sending them light and love, that hopefully one day they will have the faith in themselves to step up in their own life, to get the help and actually follow through on it. There's an individual decision we make that I'm going to love myself today. And that comes from you having compassion for yourself. But we can start off as family members, having compassion, say, I know you're going through a lot. I don't agree with A, B, and C, but I have compassion for you. And if I can help, how can I be of help? Offer your help. And if the person steps up, help them. Be their gym buddy. Go and get them my card. Go and get the help they need. But if they don't help themselves, just have compassion and silence and send them light, love, and hopefully insight for them to step up in their life. Before a person can man up, you got to step up within you to feel worthy and deserving and have faith that I can be better than this. I deserve better than this.
Mike's thinking, what can a partner do?
Yeah, that's so you can't be. It's not a competition, but compassion is good. But I'm also thinking other scenarios. So here we have compassion to a guy who's letting himself down completely. Compassion is also telling him, hey man, you can't possibly be feeling good what you are. And
I agree.
Reminding him, so I see this queen and king energy, and a queen will never allow a king to fall. She will tell him, hey, it's time for you to become the king. You're not the king right now. And I think there's a lot of wives
conflict.
Say again?
We avoid conflict. How do you deal with the conflict? Many queens don't sit there and say to their kings, hey, I need you to get help, because you're avoiding conflict. We don't want a fight. We don't want the abuse. We don't want. That's what the reality is.
That I agree with you. But I still, if I'm looking back to all the clients that I'm coaching, of course, you need to have developed yourself, right? You need to have the queen energy, then that demands that you have a lot of courage and you know who you are and you know your boundaries. You know he's not his best, but the strongest partners I've had, they have told me, hey, Mike, this is not you. Yeah. And that has given me power.
Good.
Yeah.
And I believe that's really a way to support your man as well. That doesn't mean come and judge and point fingers and don't this. It comes to inspire him, tell him who he is and who he's actually born to be. And that gives a man a lot of power. Yeah. When his wife does that.
I love that. And I'll add on to what you're saying, because as you both know, that one of the things, and I feel that my strength is in the power of curiosity, right? To your point, Monica, people avoid conflict, but conflict is what you think might happen, but you'll be surprised when you start to inquire and you start to open up that conversation. You said something powerful that said, what is it that I can do to support you this week? What is right? How can I be of service to you? What is something that you need that you haven't asked for that I can help you with? What's just inquiring about that and opening up that conversation in a time when when he's not drained, find that time, create the mood, create the energy, maybe it's just after sexy time, you both have oxytocin and you're relaxed, give him a massage or do something, surprise him. And then that'll open up the conversation when he's not his backup. And sometimes a lot of women, the thing is they wait for their man to come home and then they want to, and I was guilty of this. I remember my man, when I was in the relationship, said, I just got in, man. let me de-stress and unwind. I'm not ready, and my energy is like a lot, right? So
give me something very valuable. You worked on yourself. You did something very valuable. You worked on yourself. And Mike, you're right. That queen energy means that woman has to also work on herself to make her life ice cream. But then she has the patience and tolerance and compassion to actually say, let me handhold you and help you. We can't help people when we're empty ourselves. And so each and every person out there, king or queen, take charge of the energy in your space and work on yourself to be a higher, better version of you. Don't give from an empty well, give from your overflow. Overflow means, you're right, eat well, exercise, sleep well, and get a calm state of mind. Deal with your past baggage that keeps showing up as boulders in your life and turns into obstacles. Work through anger, work through anxiety, work through standards, work through the narratives that make you block yourself from communicating and asking for help or being able to offer it.
I love that. And I think all three of us are testaments to us being individuals that not only have been inquisitive of how we can help ourselves, but we've also invested the time and money in experts and coaches in the tunes of thousands of dollars that have helped us transform who we are. So guys, please take a look at Mike's book, pre-order the ManUP book, and then also Dr. Monica's. This is a compliment, guys. The ManUP is your character builder, and the deeper wellness is going to help you with the trauma and anxiety. It is a perfect marriage. I love this conversation. Thank you,
Dr. Monica. Where can we get your book?
Amazon. It's all over the place. It's out there too. I have an audiobook for people with ADD or chronic pain, and they want to just listen to the book.
And Mike, she's waiting for your address. So when you get your address, we're sending you the signed copy. She had asked it for me, but I said he's in transient right now. So as soon as he has his address in Dubai or America, you'll get your copy from Dr. Monica.
I can't wait. I'm super excited to read that.
All right, guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We'll see you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Dr. Monica. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Thank you, Karen.